Hello, hello, good morning, welcome in, welcome back everybody. My name is Laura and we are going to dig deep into these astrological energies. Today we're going to tie it to the Twin Flame Collective, and then we are going to go deeper in with some oracle and some tarot messages. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button below so we can be YouTube friends. But let's talk about this very loaded, very layered transit that I'm going to pick apart today connected to the Twin Flames. And so yesterday we had Mercury in an opposition to Saturn. Mercury is entering into Libra today, and it's pretty much going to be in a direct opposition to Neptune in Aries. And so if things are feeling a little bit triggering, a little bit out of sorts, it's because all of these energies are pushing all of these illusions to the surface in preparation for the second eclipse happening this weekend on Sunday on the 21st. And so this opposition is connected to communication. It's connected to contracts. It's connected to relationships. These energies are all at the forefront. They're front and center. Today, this opposition is taking place between the 1st and the 7th house when this transit culminates in Eastern Standard Time. And so Libra in Mercury wants that harmony. It does want that balance. And it can also avoid some very harsh truths, right? Because Libra tends to lean into people-pleasing tendencies. With Neptune retrograde in Aries sitting in the 1st house, this is the stripping away of the illusions energy. It's all about self-identity, the 1st house. And so Neptune retrograde here in the 1st house is dissolving the false masks. This is also dissolving the egoic self-image and any projections that other people have kind of put on you, okay? So this is collective energy. This transit is very significant, I want to say, for those that do have Aquarius rising, because this would be playing out in a similar energy, okay? And so really, Aries at 0 degrees, Neptune in Aries at 0 degrees is all about reclaiming that authenticity at the root level of self. And so this opposition is going to force confrontations within relationships. It's kind of this energy of what I say and what I do in partnerships versus what is true about me. And this is kind of stripping everything down to the bare minimum. There's going to be no more illusions. And so it is activating the 1st house of self and the 7th house of relationships. And so there is a Pisces stellium also sitting in the 1st house. So we're alchemizing Aquarius, Pisces, and Aries energy all in the 1st house of self. And then the 7th house has a Virgo stellium along with Libra and Leo energy. And so we do see Venus and the moon both in Leo, also in the 7th house. And Venus is sitting at that 29th analytical karmic degree point. And I just want to say locked and loaded. They want me to say locked and loaded. And so we're kind of being tested with relationships under fire right now is kind of how this is feeling for me. 29 degrees is a very fated degree. It is a karmic ending, I feel, with a karmic feminine energy. And this is connected to emotional cycles because we do have the moon in Leo at 22 degrees. And so something here feels like it is playing out very dramatically, okay? And so because this is the axis of self versus other, it does feel like a karmic reckoning kind of playing out connected to the 7th house. While the 1st house energy is demanding that truth, it is demanding that sovereignty. And so I do feel this is the fall of the masculine collective. There's a very prominent undertone of archetypal energies connected to the Knight of Swords in reverse. So this is rash, this is chaotic, this is rash, chaotic communication. This is the truth coming out very messily, possibly in an argument or a confrontation that's likely going to erupt if it hasn't already erupted. And this is going to be a false narrative crumbling, a false relationship foundation crumbling. The sun reversed also is at play here with the 9 of Wands. And so there's this lack of clarity or this hidden truth coming to light in the energies today. This false happiness is exposed. And I feel the masculine collective is feeling battle fatigued. This is really what this is signaling to me. The collective in general, I do want to say, is feeling worn down, but still standing. We're still standing, right? And I'm hearing that, so I'm still standing. Yeah. So part of the spiritual journey is learning resilience and boundaries. And so Pluto retrograde too, I wanted to touch a little base on in these energies, because Pluto is retrograde sitting in the 12th house, the 12th house being the house of karma. And there is this exposure of manipulation is kind of what I see happening in the 12th house today. The false stability, the distorted spiritual unions falling apart. And there is this major karmic clearing on the deepest subconscious level. This is generational karmic contracts ending is what this screams to me. And so there's a judgment undertone happening in the 12th house today, which is connected to rebirth and resurrection through this karmic release. And so there is this rejection of all of these old dogmas, all of these old traditions, and these toxic belief systems is what I'm seeing here. So we can really step into spiritual sovereignty rather than the dependence on all of these external authorities or external validation. And so the collective impact on the twin flame is showing me there is a massive karmic cycle closure taking place, especially with Venus at 29 degrees in the 7th house in Leo. This does signify the end of the karmic feminine entanglements connected to the divine masculine, and these lessons around attachment, pride, ego in love, it's all being stripped away. The illusions are being stripped away with Neptune retrograde at 0 degrees in Aries in the 1st house. This is stripping away the false mask, especially connected to self and in relationships. And so many will see through karmic partners. They will see through these manipulative spiritual dynamics like I had to kind of work through. So this is exposing false twins. This is exposing karmic soul ties. And this will feel like massive communication upheaval in the energies, okay? So Mercury opposite Neptune. Boom. It's like, boom. There's the truth bomb. There is the collapsing. There's the slipping of the tongue energy, or divine revelations too, because we're talking about Mercury. There could be a divine revelation or a divine download that can no longer be ignored as well. And so with this karmic feminine archetype energy being highlighted in this astrology chart, these old cycles connected to controlling, manipulative, and distorted feminine energies, they are being dissolved. And this is going to free the divine masculine energy to see things clearly, okay? And so with the undertone of Pluto at play and judgment, these subconscious karmic contracts are collapsing. And so the twin flames are being asked in the energies today to rise from the ashes. If you remember, the Phoenix card in reverse came out in yesterday's reading. And so when we rise from these ashes with that true union energy from within, then we release all of these karmic soul bonds or soul ties. And so basically this transit today, it's the breaking point for these karmic illusions in relationships. And so what I did want to point out is there is going to be a harsh truth coming to light today. There's going to be an ending that will surface, but the culmination of this completion might not take place until September 12, 2026, when we have a second Mercury Neptune retrograde opposition between Libra and Aries again, but the second culmination will be at 3 degrees 21, the energy of the Empress in the world. And so there is something ending now. There is something karmically surfacing right now, particularly where the karmic feminine energies have been distorted or have blocked these unions purposely. And the collective is going to be forced to face some very uncomfortable clarity, some very uncomfortable truths. But this is clearing and setting the stage for the authentic connections and these deeper spiritual unions in a year from now. And so it is all about divine timing. And so whatever plays out now is leading us through the doorway to these spiritual unions that could play out from now until next year. So let's go a little bit further with some cards. Before I dig in with the cards, I do want to quickly mention I have a quick, easy, free guide to learning the basics of the birth chart. And so if you are curious about astrology, if you are new to astrology, and you would like to understand how to follow along with the astrology portion of my channelings, comment down below birth chart, free birth chart, free guide. And I will send you the link to download the free birth chart guide to understand the basics of your birth chart. And I do want to mention, I will be launching an astrology program, and this is going to be a membership program. I'm going to be launching it after the eclipses, after we're through the eclipse energy. And so if you're ready to learn more, if you're ready to grow with me, learn with me, and understand astrology, how to use it to your advantage, because we are going into some very big energies over the coming year, this would be the time to join my mentorship. So stay tuned. Watch for the announcement to join the mentorship, but I just wanted to mention that quickly. But enough about that. Let's dig in with the oracle and the tarot cards, and let's see what the other messages are today. Okay, let's talk about these cards because it is definitely in direct alignment with the energies connected to the astrology today. So I did decide to use the Energy Oracle cards deck. I haven't used it in a while, but something told me that's where I'm going to get the deeper message connected to this transit. And it did not disappoint with the first chakra card coming out. So this is the base chakra. This is also connected to Archangel Michael. And so this is the severing of the attachments, right? When we are rooted in the lower chakra energy, when we are operating out of the lower three chakras, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root chakra, then we are not operating out of these higher energies, the higher divine energies. And so this is also a 35 card. So this is connected to the 9 of Wands in reversed energy archetype in the tarot. And so what this says to me is challenges. There are challenges here. There's negative emotions coming to light. You could be challenged connected to your emotional or your financial safety. I also feel like this, the disillusionment energy, right? And so Archangel Michael holds the sword of truth. This is also the sword that severs, right? And so there is a severing of these old contracts. And so I did pull out the book for this one before jumping on to record. And so the energy of the first chakra here is saying it's blocked. So maybe somebody is having trouble facing some very difficult emotions, and this could be very revealing, connected to fears is what this is saying. Fears about your safety, fears about your feelings, fears of insecurity, or even depression is at play here. And so this blocked energy, I do feel, is also connected to financial worries. And then the next card out was this Angel of Love in reverse. This carries with it the archetypal energies of the Nine of Cups in reversed. And so this is the truth being unveiled about a situation that maybe is riddled with addictions, which created the illusions of, hey, this is my happily ever after. I feel a very strong energy of overindulgence to avoid the truth of a situation where there is no more love. There is a lack of love here. And then there's anger here, I feel, breaking free. All tied up in reversed. This is connected to the energy of the Eight of Swords in reversed. So if you think of the Eight of Swords upright, it's somebody surrounded by a bunch of swords. And all they have to do is take the blindfold off and walk through the swords that are keeping them imprisoned. And so there is a King of Wands in reversed energy coming through with this card today. And this does feel like anger as a tool to break somebody through. And so I feel sacred rage. Sacred rage is being activated to break somebody free from a very karmic cycle is really what this is screaming to me. And so rage actually is a tool for creation. And when we are angry, we're saying something here isn't right. Something here isn't fair. And there's a need to break free. Something about three. So I don't know if somebody's tried to leave a situation 3 times. Usually the journey happens in spirals of 3. But the bottom of the deck was the throat chakra. So there is an activation. This is directly connected to the Mercury energy, the Mercury opposite Neptune. And so there it is, right? The disillusionment. And so there is some very piercing truth. There could be some very brash, harsh truth being spoken. And whoever is speaking this truth, they are being divinely guided to speak this truth, because we do see Archangel Gabriel working here, but I just see this bubble of energy around somebody's higher chakras, the throat, the third eye, the crown, and then the soul star chakra. And so somebody is being divinely guided to speak their heart-centered truth, because there is a Knight of Cups energy here. And so this is opening up the doorway to romance. And so we are clearing these old karmic soul ties in preparation for the second eclipse. What really got me was the Moon card as the central energy of this reading today. Somebody's choosing to uncage themselves out of a situation. There is a Tower energy here. There is a mastery of some sort. There is somebody stepping into soul mastery. And I do feel like divine timing is definitely at play here, because the first card out is the Wheel. So once again, the Wheel is connected to Jupiter. This is connected to divine timing. This is things moving forward. Ready or not, things are moving forward. And there is a release of a false start. And so the Page of Wands, or the Palace of Wands in reverse, is like the Ace of Wands on steroids. And there it is again. It came out twice. So double confirmation. And there is a masculine here, I feel, swimming in a sea of repressed emotions. They are bubbling to light. They are bubbling to the surface. And I also feel there's a masculine here that has been emotionally detached from a karmic situation, has been internalizing a lot of their pain, internalizing their awakening. I just feel like this lack of passion. This energy feels explosive. This feels explosive. So I don't know if there was an explosive revelation at the last eclipse, the Pisces full moon eclipse. It's like all of the shadows came to light. There was a reflection. There was an activation of some sort. And now we are completing that karmic cycle with the second eclipse this weekend. So all of these energies this week have been building to close out the karma. And so we do have all of the fixed signs here. And then there's that 0 degrees Aries energy with the Fool archetype in the center of this karmic lesson. And so something is completing. There is an ending and a beginning happening at the same time. And this is the revelation. This is the truths unveiled, the truths revealed. So this very well could be an explosive outburst that leads to almost like a confession of some sort. The Seven of Swords is my card of trickery, right? It's the liar, cheater, thief card. And I feel somebody's tried to piggyback off of another's energy to avoid doing the deep dive into some heart pain, into healing their heart. This also to me is saying blocks are being removed. And once again, divinely guided change. So there is the Hierophant card that I channeled. And so There is something coming full circle connected to these old dogmas, these old beliefs, these old structures connected to institutions and religious backgrounds. And this is creating like an internal war zone. And so when we go through this awakening process, it is a process of cognitive dissonance where we hold these two deeply rooted beliefs. And then we have to sift through all of the illusions. So there's like a raging war going on here, and there's the Leo. And so I do feel if there is a masculine here, raging war, closing out a cycle, they're not going to back down. The person they're dealing with certainly is not going to back down. And I also feel fear. There's fear, there's anxiety, there's I want to say contempt. There's this energy coming through of contempt. And so the bottom of the deck is a very telling story, because there's that Nine of Cups reversed connected to the Angel of Love in reversed. And then we get this Nine of Swords with the Page of Cups in between. So there was a shift on that 9-9 portal. And so there's been a shift. I don't know if there's overwhelming fear about bringing forward some honest communication, some maybe a heartfelt offer or some type of sincere apology. I do feel somebody has been masking with addictions of some sort, whether it's overindulging in alcohol, drugs, materialism. There is so much resistance to bringing forward like a reconciliation energy or an offer. It just feels like an offer, a stable offer. There's resistance. There's a little bit of trickery here, because all of these lies have to come to light. And so the palace of lies is crumbling. Anything built on lies, anything built on illusion, anything built on falsities or false pretensions. I think I said that right. They are all crumbling down. You get the drift. And then I did stop at the Five of Swords in reverse. And so this is the crossroads where we release these manipulative people, manipulative behaviors, where we recognize also where we self-sabotage our own journey and our own path. And there it is again, that life force activation. So Uranus is coming in to shake things up. And so this is a major spiritual activation happening in the energies today. And so there is an ending. This is unavoidable change. There is the peeling back of the illusions. And this could also mean an unexpected job loss. There could be a masculine losing it all. Everything that they've built, because it was built on a palace of lies, is going to come crumbling down. And this is going to get somebody unstuck, is what this is feeling like today. So if I look to where the Scorpio energy is sitting at today, it is in that 9th house. We do have Lilith in the 9th house, and we do have the 9th house sitting at 13 degrees 36. So there's that death energy, 10 of Wands reversed. So there's a burden. There's a very heavy burden getting released. And it does feel like it's happening through a very chaotic situation here. So I'm going to leave the death card out, and we're going to look at the moon energy, the central energy, because as a timing card, I feel the tower's already fallen. I think the tower fell at the Pisces full moon eclipse, and we're just clearing the energies. We're clearing the karmic board, the karma, in order to close out the karmic cycle at the 29th degree Virgo new moon. And so, yeah, the lies were exposed about a karmic feminine energy with the Empress reverse, and there's that realignment. So usually I look at the Two of Pentacles in timing of years, but because this is connected to Jupiter and Capricorn, this is accelerating the path. So yes, 2 weeks, like in 2 weeks, these eclipses are 2 weeks apart. So there was an exposure of a karmic feminine during the Pisces full moon eclipse, almost like the mask slipped, the veil was ripped away, and there is like the authenticity coming through. There's the flipping of the scales. The illusion was shattered. And I do feel this activated somebody's heart chakra, and there it is, the releasing of the burden. So what this feels like is like that come into Jesus moment, the bringing you to your knees moment, in order for this realignment to take place. And so what is this challenge all about, though? Because it does still feel like a raging war inside of somebody. They're at war with themselves, is what this feels like. And I do feel this could be because there is the loss of what we talked about yesterday, the social group, the social conditioning, There's the Eight of Swords in reverse, the breaking away, and the illumination. And so I feel somebody is really struggling with leaving the old timeline behind. They're really struggling with a huge missed opportunity. There very well could be a huge financial loss, a job loss here, but this is breaking somebody free, and this is reorienting their spiritual path. And so the light is shining down. There's the Sun card. The light is shining down on a karmic situation here, and I do think the past is coming back to haunt somebody. So with that being said, I did close off this message today with the Guardian Angel Tarot cards. I haven't used this deck in a while. This is actually a really old deck, and I had it gifted to me a long time ago. I don't even think this deck is in print anymore, but I wanted to get a deeper tarot message for guidance, and the two cards that came out was a happy change and the Seven of Emotions. And so it does feel almost like the energy of the wheel, right? It's a 10 card. And so what this is telling me, look at all the cherubs surrounding, I want to say, these divine unions. And so the angels have heard. They've heard your prayers, and they are working together to create real, joyful changes in your life. So that is what you need to hone in on. Do not play into projections. Do not play into the battle zone that you see playing out collectively, because there is going to be a karmic chain of events here, and this chain of events is going to begin to move things forward rather quickly. There's going to be great progress possible after this second eclipse on the weekend, so there's going to need to be rapid decisions being made. There's going to be a suddenness in this energy being activated, but you're going to have to find your confidence, and you're going to have to trust in the guidance that you are receiving from the Mercury energy, even though it's in opposition to the Neptune. So we've got these truths, this download coming in opposition to the illusion. And the Seven of Emotion is connected to the Seven of Cups, which is the illusion. And so the angels are asking you to make an important decision that you have been putting off. And so there's procrastination here. And you likely know which choice it is you need to make. But the procrastination is about not upsetting somebody else. Well, guess what? The apple cart's been flipped over. Somebody's already upset. They're already lashing out. There's lies. There's secrets here. There is a need for you to just make the choice and celebrate the path that is truly yours. Because on the bottom of the deck, we did get Guardian of Action. You are protected. You are guarded by spiritual forces as you take action. It's time to step up. It's time to be the leader that you wished you had. Natural leadership skills are being called into action. And this is the moment that the twins step into true leadership, move into the light, and shine for everybody to see. And so this is also about inspiring people, right? And so although the energies are challenging, love is in the spotlight and stepping into becoming a spiritual teacher. And so this is the Hermit energy. This is the wise teacher. And so there are great rewards on the other side of completing this cycle. So use this time wisely. Use moments of solitude to focus on love, to focus on what it is that you want to bring forward in your service mission, to give to those around you and in the collective, and shine your light as an example for others. That is what we're here to do. Seek out a spiritual mentor if need be, if it feels like that will help you in an unfulfilled path right now. So with that being said, if you would like to go further with me with a reading, check out the description box below. There will be a link to my webpage. I offer several different reading scales at different price scales. And I also am a twin flame guide and coach if you are looking into mentorship or coaching sessions. Check it out. Good luck, everybody. I hope to see you all again next time.